everybody. Welcome back to the
The Black Multiverse Theory podcast.
Yes, welcome to the Black Multiverse Theory podcast, where hosts Nigel and Nilo explore current events through an Afro-Canadian lens. In Shout Out, we catch up with the community, creating a space for connections. In The Scroll, we dive into social media, current events, and celebrity news, always actual, but not always factual. On the screen, we share our latest watch list, while in our ears explores the sounds shaping our world. The podcast culminates with an uplifting message as we hope to leave you, our viewers and listeners, empowered. Thanks for tuning in for insightful analysis and vibrant perspective on the Black experience in today's world.
Yes. We are very happy to have you with us. It is very cool to be on podcasting and to have everything going. So it's very cold outside and very cold inside the studio. So if you see us kind of bundled up, studio's a little bit cold today.
It sure is.
It sure is.
Okay. All right. Shout outs. Who you got for shout outs?
Okay. Shout outs first. Shout outs to the Steel Heights Tigers, who unfortunately we lost our last game by obliteration.
Oh my gosh.
We
Not obliteration.
faced off against a formidable team, which was good. And some of our key players weren't there to help and support the faithful few that came out in the cold.
Okay.
It was a blistering minus 37 here in Edmonton. The wind chill brought it to the minus 50 range. And a lot of parents were like, no, I'm not bringing my kid out. I'm good.
I hear that.
And so some of the key players, like both of our goalies, they did not come. So we had to find, we're like, all right, one of us has to do the goalie. I'm going to be the bad guy. You. And the person was like, oh, me? I'm like, yep. Everybody got to protect this guy. He's the goalie.
That's called voluntold.
Pretty much. Because when you ask the children to do something that they don't want to do, they're not going to volunteer.
No.
So you have to be like, okay, this is who it is. Second half, my daughter was like, Nyla was like, Dad, I want to go in goal. And she did. Went in goal and did her best. She did her best. She did her best in goal. It was good. They figured out that if they just kick the ball as hard as they can in and around her face or anywhere there, they're pretty much she's gonna dodge it, and she's not gonna use her face to stop the ball. Right. Is what they realized.
Yeah.
And so they did that quite a few times, and took care of that. But also our defense was like nervous and tired and different stuff, but no excuses on there. We had a good opportunity to come and score and put points on the board and give them a run for their money. But
they say an L is not a loss. An L is a
lemur. It's a lesson. Yes.
So I'm sure.
So it was. So we learned a lot. Mm-hmm. Shout out to my mom, Mama Zita. We are anxiously waiting to go to 5 Artists One Love, where she will be my +1. And her +1 will be my niece as well. So it's going to have a great time at 5 Artists One Love.
That sounds nice. 5 Artists is up and coming.
Do you have any shout outs?
My shout out this week. Shout out to Bill Bear.
Bill Bear, yeah.
That was very supportive.
Big shout out to Bill. Week. Yes.
I think that's mostly it. Big shout out to my family. Big shout out to the Uncle Marios and
shout out to Uncle
everybody
Mario.
else. Yeah. I don't know do we have any Joe. I don't even know if Joe listens to the show, but remember, Joe, our
From Mocktails?
former, yes, Joe from Mocktails.
Mm.
It was her birthday recently,
Oh, happy birthday, Joe.
so big shout out to Joe.
Big shout out to Joanna.
Joe, Joe,
Joanna.
Yes, big shout out to her.
Yeah. So we're going to move on to the next portion of our show called
The Scroll.
The Scroll. And on the scroll,
on the scroll this week, we've got
we have got quite a thing. First of all, we had a huge cold snap, which we talked about. The cold snap was terrifying.
Absolutely the first time that I learned that there is a cold level that will break the infrastructure of Alberta. I think I felt like very safe when I look at places like Dallas. They get snow and people literally freeze and die in their houses.
Right.
I'm like, Alberta, we got it. We do this. But yeah, for the first time, they were like, oh, turn off some stuff.
Yes.
I heard, and I don't know this to be true, but I heard that they are selling our electricity to south of the border.
Yeah.
To California.
Yeah, well,
and so we have less available.
No.
Oh.
So each province has their way to make money with electricity. So Vancouver, which has a lot of mountainous areas and a lot of warmer weather than we do, they definitely, and they're also lower towards sea level than we are. We're about 2,000 feet above sea level, so we feel cold because we're higher up on the scale. Now, Vancouver, with their mountainous areas, has installed a large amount of solar paneling.
Okay.
And they also have different fields that go lower into the valleys, which they have the windmills. They're the ones specifically that enhance the power grid of California. So their whole power grid, but they've been doing this for years. So whenever California is like got the forest fires or whenever there's a situation, they just draw their power and the power goes into California. It doesn't take away any less from us. We don't get power from Vancouver like they do. So what ends up happening with us is we use coal. To be honest, we use the old-fashioned fossil fuels.
We still do that, eh?
Yep, to run our power grid.
We do have lots of windmills in southern Alberta, actually.
So we here in Edmonton, and in the Calgary region, and even Fort McMurray, we're pretty much using the good old fossil fuels still. Oil and gas country, Berta, baby. So that's where we're at.
There's a lot of stuff because I remember the government being like, do you want rolling blackouts? Do you want power shutouts in the middle of minus 31? And I was like, power shutouts in the middle of minus 31? That sounds awful. No, I would not want that. And then it happened. It was really strange. It was like self-fulfilling prophecy.
Well,
like, do you want these things? No. Well, here they are.
Did we have a blackout this year?
We didn't, but we had that emergency alert that was like, turn off your lights or else.
When it dropped down to minus 37 is freezing. It is so cold past zero that people were taking noodles and spaghetti.
Yeah.
And making artwork out of it by having the spoon hold the
Yeah. There was a trend where they do that in a restaurant in New York, but they do it with hot oil and they like fry the noodle.
Okay.
But people were doing it. Yeah, I saw that.
So they did that quite a bit here by just propping a spoon up, and then taking a picture. What, you know what I'm talking about?
In this economy,
you better eat them noodles. You better thaw them out.
eat them.
You
better be You better be eating frozen noodle delight.
You better get paid $1 million for that artwork because
You better do some.
let me tell you,
Wasted all the noodles.
I was sitting there and wondering about just how that affects us, like that cold. And as you said, there's a point where mechanical things just
Don't work.
fail.
Yeah, they break. And there was a lot of people, including yourself, actually, that were without vehicle this last week.
I didn't have a vehicle from Wednesday all the way until this Monday. I didn't have a vehicle that worked. And even today, the vehicle wouldn't start like twice.
Oh, wow.
So even now leaving here, I don't know how that's going to happen because the vehicle's just not starting.
Yeah. So, yeah, 'tis the season, as they say.
The season, yeah.
In these days, in these cold, cold days. I think the running joke is that Winter heard us talking about her, and she's like, "Oh yeah, bet."
a lot of people are talking about our winter this year.
Yeah, we're like, "Oh, this is great," but the irony is that it wasn't even winter yet, because winter doesn't even start till December 23rd or whatever.
Global warming.
True, that is also factual, but people are like, "Oh, I heard it was the I don't know what they said. El Nino? I don't know what they said."
Also, somebody said in the chat that Quebec has been selling nuclear stuff, nuclear power to eastern
side.
To eastern U.S.
Yes. I've heard this before.
Yeah.
Can you guys tell me if we look frozen to you? On my computer, we're not frozen, but on our monitor, we're a little bit frozen. So tell me if our videos coming frozen. I don't have anybody on my comments here, so you'll have to tell me what they say.
Oh, I can see us moving.
Oh, you're good?
In the live, yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So this lag is just there. It's not real.
Yeah, I think this lag is something else.
Okay. All right. I was just wondering this the other day. I went to ATB and the lady was like getting the money out, and I was like, wow, they really just be leaving the thing open over there. But then I was like, but
sorry, what thing did they leave me open?
What I consider to be the vault.
Oh.
Right? So I don't know if it is the vaults or it could just be the room with the safety deposit boxes, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so I'm like nowadays, do people even rob banks anymore? And then I see on YEG Wave, this guy robbed 5 banks.
Yeah.
In southern Edmonton, South Edmonton.
Yeah, the guy went, and they have like 5 different screenshots of him robbing the different banks. The first time, I don't think he had his whole process together because he showed up with sunglasses and looked like a party hat of some sort, and that's it. And he walked in, he was like, "Give me the money," or whatever, right?
Right.
But then as he went to the next one, he's like, "You know what? I better like,
bro, 5.
I better cover it up."
Banks, bro, 5. That's a lot.
Yeah, 5 banks. 5 banks is a lot, but
in Edmonton, like if I were to rob a bank hypothetically, I would go to like Camrose or like, you know, I go to small town. Theoretically, hypothetically.
You know what? As much as I'm laughing at it, because I'm like, small town, what they got, like $10 in there? But the small town, because of the farms, they got millions of those guys.
They have money.
They got the millions.
They
so
do.
I wouldn't fault it. But listen, if you end up seeing somebody robbing a bank with a pink lilac colored hot pink bonnet, do not think it was us. It's just a circumstance.
If you don't,
or not even us, don't think it's Nilo.
I'm gonna dress. Listen, if you see an old white lady rob a bank, it might just be Nilo. Is what I'm trying to say.
Why? Why?
Why wouldn't I put prosthesis on and disguise myself properly?
The why is not about why the process. The why is why you telling everybody what your process is.
Theoretically, hypothetically.
Yeah, theoretically.
Because I'm not going to be robbing a bank anytime soon. That's why I can tell you guys my plans.
There you go. Not soon, but Where do you
And
see it?
it's part of my defense. Like, how stupid would I be to give everybody my plans and then rob a bank?
Famous last words.
No. I'm not robbing a bank anytime soon.
Nobody is. No.
But I mean, good for that guy. I don't really know what to say. I'm always about the underdog, and for some reason, I appreciate the confidence.
Speaking of underdogs,
It's HDIC insured, right?
most of the things HDIC insured. Okay.
FDIC.
FDIC.
FDIC insured.
FICO. FICO. For FDIC. Yeah. CCP. RESP.
Yo, shout out to Shane Hall. Shane Hall was trying to tell me about poker, and he just said a bunch of numbers for like a minute and a half. He's like, yeah, so there's a top 25, and then there's the bottom 25, and then there's, and he's just going through the thing, and he's like telling about percentages and chances and numbers. I was like, brother, go on then.
Okay. Well, we were talking about underdogs, but the underdog that I want to talk about
Darren Hall said I'm in the bonnet gang.
Is Rachel Notley. Oh, you're in the bonnet gang. Okay.
Yeah, shout out to D who sells these bonnets.
Oh yeah.
They're silk lined on the inside.
If you have no clue who D is, get to know. You need to have a D.
You gotta have a D.
Get
you a D.
Get you a D. It's the new saying
on Instagram.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah. So Rachel Notley from the NDP, has stepped down.
She has stepped down
after years and years.
I think that was a wonderful thing she did for the party. I applaud her for being able to make that kind of a decision, and I applaud the party. The only thing stopping the NDP from getting reelected is Rachel Notley.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I said it.
Why do you?
Because the right has done a really great job at targeting her as a person and not the party. So all of the rhetoric and all of the bad press around the NDP wasn't around the NDP. They were like, the NDP did this, the NDP did that. No, they were like Rachel Notley. Exactly. So because they targeted her as a person, if somebody else steps up to the plate, David Shepard, I'm looking at you specifically. If somebody else steps up to the plate, and they have to have a runoff or whatever, right? But I'm like, who else have we heard of? That's not new. Shout out to Rihanna or shout out to Sharif.
First of all, I love Rachel Notley and what she did for the party in the beginning, especially when she came into power, and what she did then when she was actually in power. As the leader of the team, she orchestrated a lot of things that helped Black people get recognized in our province and in our city. And then, now that she's stepping down, and shout out, and we're all looking at David Shepard as well. Good job, him positioning himself in this place.
I don't even know if he is, to be honest. I don't even know if he's trying or if he's running.
I don't know, but I know he positioned himself in a place where he would keep that legacy that she had, especially with the recognition of Black people in politics. Great. So the other day when I went to the Friends of Barbados dinner and I was emceeing, he brought both other Black people that are in there, which is our first female Black MLA.
Yeah, Rihanna.
And also Sharif brought them both to the thing, had them walk around to everybody's table, crack jokes, laugh. We had a good time. And he wants to do a domino thing at the legislative ground.
Oh, that would be fun.
And he wants to have a tournament out there.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Yeah, as soon as he gets to be the leadership of the NDP, we'll just go ahead and vote the NDP back into power.
Yep.
That's the plan, you guys. I think they vote within the party to make him leader, though, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we don't have any say in that one. All right, but if
Yep.
you want to leave Alberta,
If you want.
if you feel like somewhere else is good, Cochrane, Ontario, which I don't know anything
Cochrane.
about, is selling plots of land for $10.
Yeah. Yep.
What do you have to say about that?
It depends on where Cochrane is. As Black people, we can't go everywhere as we would like, and we'd like to think that that's not true in 2024. But there are places that are very wild, wild west, if you know what I'm saying.
Mm,
So to have people come on and for have people be like, we got $10 plots. It reminds you of the days when they told Black people that there was no racism to come to Alberta and there were jobs and land. And then when we got here, white people that lived here didn't want any of us here.
that's true.
And a lot of people died and had to go through a lot of things here in Alberta.
And that whole plan was a part of that settler colonial legacy that Alberta has.
Mm-hmm.
So they want to keep the dream of home ownership alive.
Alive.
So you just have to build your house, and they're doing it for $10. They said usually these plots of lands go for $50,000, and there's about 5,000 people in Cochrane, so they're so about it across the board.
Hmm.
There's people who don't want to quote unquote grow too fast. You know what they're talking about.
Okay.
They don't want the grow fast people to come. The Indians are gonna come. The Nigerians are gonna come.
Anybody who sees value in it is going to come.
Yeah, $10 for a plot of land.
And remember, about a month ago, we also reported that they were trying to get old World War II blueprints back into circulation.
Yeah, so you just order a house from the government, and for $10, the mayor of Cochrane is trying to, he's trying to attract young people to his place.
$10. Wow. Young people. By young people, does he mean like all young people or just the white people?
I don't know. I think he wants all the young people because he gets it, but I feel like the rest of the town's like, how do we make sure?
I don't know. But whatever it is, and however they're doing it over there, I'm hoping that it boosts the economy, especially of Cochrane, Ontario, which none of us seem to have ever heard of Cochrane, Ontario until they dropped the prices of their plots to $10.
Well, they're the only town in the whole country that has a bike share program. Wouldn't I love that?
Oh, bike share program. Well, we found out in Prince George they have a go borrow a bike thing or rent a bike. Was it rent a bike?
They have a community beach in the middle of the town.
Who?
Cochrane.
Oh, okay. Is it warm?
No, it's Northern Ontario. So it's
absolutely
like
not. It's freezing. It's freezing cold.
Where are we now?
What? Listen, you just said beach. Everybody thinks about beach in one way. Hot, sandy beach. Not freezing cold in the winter. I'm going to step on there and ice skate on the beach. Nobody wants to ice skate on your beach for $10.
Listen, give the land back to the First Nations people and let's just keep it moving.
First Nations people would be benefiting like crazy off of
back to the people. Okay, next thing that we have.
Next thing we got. Here we go.
The Queen of Canada.
Speaking of the people that we have, Queen of Canada came out and we last heard.
But we're not talking about Queen Elizabeth.
No. We are talking about the self-proclaimed Queen of Canada.
Correct.
Has their own currency, has people trading out plots and remortgaging their homes and selling their houses.
The thing I find bizarre about it is that she has tricked the media into calling her the Queen of Canada.
I don't know about it as tricking. She said this outlandish thing, and the media has taken her own words and been like,
All right.
the Queen. It's very sarcastic how people call the Queen of Canada. It's not something regal. But
It's
when you say Queen of Canada, you know exactly who you're talking about because she's the self-proclaimed queen. I don't know what trick. That's wild.
she said, "Call me the Queen of Canada," and they were like, instead of being like, "But you're not," they were like, "So the Queen of Canada."
They're like, haha, such and such, the Queen of Canada is da da da. So she was holed up in Saskatchewan at a school.
Okay.
Many people thought that there were people hostages there. I even made a joke that the RCMP with their entire force of one came to the door, knocked on the door, and said, "Hey, what are you all doing in there?"
They held the RCMP hostage or something in that town, if I remember correctly.
What they did was they literally um, went into the school. There's a school that was there, an old school, and they built a new school and had the old school there, and they were transferring the stuff from the old school to the new school that they built. So they built it for the kids. The old school was there empty, just the stuff, furniture, and stuff they had to move over. So the Queen of Canada and her caravan moved into the working on school that they're about to demolish. And they came up and they were like, "We're not leaving, and we're going to shoot anybody who thinks they can get past this fence line." So the entire population of the Saskatchewan community that was in the city where they're at came. The 10 of them came, and they were like, "Hey, we want you to leave." And they're screaming, "You shame on you,
They're
shame
like
on you!"
honking their vehicle horns in the middle of the night and giving them
Those horns,
the flights. Too.
Yeah. And then finally, in the middle of the night, while everybody was sleeping, the Queen of Canada, by herself, drove off and left her followers there and found a new place for her followers to come, wherewith she signaled them via text message on where to be here.
Homing pigeon.
And I'm not going to say none of the things, text message or whatever. And then she went over, and the rest of the caravan went to a farm down the road, a private property. And that's where they hold them now.
Gotcha. So the Queen of Canada still
reigning.
Reigning strong.
Reigning the
now,
province of Saskatchewan.
Poor Saskatchewan. Listen, Jada Kingdom and Steph London. As many of you may know, these are two Jamaican reggae dancehall artists, and they recently had what we would call maybe a sound clash.
Some of you might know Steph London as Steph London, but we like to call her Steph London.
If you guys know, and please tell me if I'm wrong, Teflon Don is Gotti, right? The Teflon Don. They tried to take him to court a bunch of times. It wouldn't stick. It's a mafia thing in New York. So there used to be Steph Lava, who was on the radio in New York, and she used to call herself the Steph London. And then Steph London came out, and she calls herself Steph London because she's Jamaican. And I've been calling her the wrong person the whole
time. Steph London is out here. And they have one thing in common. Two things in common. First, they're both from Kingston, Jamaica. And two, they both dated Burna Boy, the Afrobeat sensation.
Yes.
Just recently, Burna Boy purchased for Steph London's. Jada Kingdom. Jada Kingdom.
So in the song City, first of all, the song Last allegedly about Steph London. So they dated for a while. He talks about he bought her a Jeep and she crashed it and so. We've all heard, and everybody go chop breakfast, shy. We all heard the song, right? Then he came out with another song called City Boys. And he said, "And I the best poom poom in Kingston. That's why me buy a Birkin for Jada Kingdom."
Okay.
So that's the most recent thing. So apparently, I think Steph came out with a some kind of a diss track for Jada Kingdom. Jada Kingdom came back with a diss track. Steph London came back with a diss track. Jada Kingdom came back with the next diss track. Then Steph London came back with the diss track. Then the Jada Kingdom, and the internet says Jada Kingdom should whatchamacallit. I'm gonna hand this over to Nigel because I want you to read it in a Jamaican accent because it's Chandra Paul. He actually, you don't want to read it?
What? I've never seen it before. This is the first time I've found out
I know.
that I'm going to read
This
this
is
in a
the first time
Jamaican.
I decided it.
Oh,
Do you
okay.
want it?
Let me
Or
see.
you don't want to? It's okay.
Let me see.
So Sean Paul came out and decided that he had something to say about the situation and wrote in all caps locks like a person who's our age on social media, talking about this Steph London to Jada Kingdom. The reason that I liked it is because dance hall's been in a little bit of a hole lately, and I feel like they vibed up the thing. They had big TMZ, all these people reporting in on this back and forth beef.
So, so
You ready?
here's what Sean Paul says in this. Uh, and he does write it in Jamaican patois. So he's I don't love this, not at all. Women should be warriors, yes, but for our cause, you should lead the way morally for the fam. Men get heated, you calm us down. How can we call? How can we call down if you? How can we calm down if you all doing that? Two, two beautiful black women, live better, set a better example. Sorry, live better. Sorry, set a better example. Please, for the culture, may I beg you, for the kids, for the younger females. At Steph London, at Jada Kingdom,
How dare you?
Done Talk. And that's it. That's what he put down on the whatever on the internet.
Sean Paul, go make a song.
Chandra Paul.
Chandra Paul, please.
Chandra Paul went in
Don't
there.
be that guy.
And it would have been good if he had left out the role of a woman in there. If he said, listen, you got to live better for the younger, everybody agrees with that. If he said, yo, you got to do better for family and for the kids, everybody agrees with that. But when he said women's duty is to calm men down, men is for fight and women for calm us down.
It gets weird then.
Bro, it gets kind of weird.
But the thing is that even the other stuff that he said, they're using their talent to do this back and forth. That's why I appreciate it, because the back and forth is what it is. But come on, Jamaican music is what Jamaican music is as well. It can't be no softy if you're going back and forth.
The thing about Jamaican music in general, and beefs. Let's talk about beefs for just a second. Anytime two people have a beef, trust me, half the time it's not real people. It's actually so that you can
They set
They set it up. They kind of talk about it before, and then they go at it, and they surprise each other with beats that sound like they're fighting, and they have to make up a show to make sure it's fighting. This particular one could even be that Sean Paul wanted to get in on the action because he also has an album that he recently did
that nobody's talking about.
Until now.
Now we're talking about Chandra.
That's what we're talking about. So
listen, go give the man his streams while you're streaming the Jada King.
Most of the beefs that are out there are all coordinated. Even the Will Smith Chris Rock slap, people think is coordinated to this day. To this day.
Okay.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about. I know you guys are tired, probably, of Palestine, but we're gonna talk about it. Talk about it.
So what's going on in Palestine?
So South Africa has decided to take Israel to court for genocide. Okay. South Africa said, we will never forget what has happened in South Africa. And at the time of genocide and apartheid in South Africa, Guess who supported the apartheid in South Africa?
Who?
United States,
U.S.
Canada,
Canada.
and Israel.
Okay.
So Nelson Mandela at the time, he said, South Africa will never forget, Israel, that you supported this apartheid in South Africa at this time. So South Africa made a plea. So they went to the ICJ, I think it's called, or whatever, but it's the international courts essentially, which is a whole UN thing, and that's a whole other conversation altogether. So we're not going there. But anyway, so they go there. Guess who jumps in and is like, actually, I don't think it's genocide.
Who?
The girl Germany.
Germany
And
thinks.
Germany of all people, like, who was talking to Germany? Correct. But the reason why this is a problem for Germany is because before the Nazis in Germany did all that weird stuff in World War II when they were persecuting Jewish people, a lot of the stuff that they were doing in Germany, they had tested in Namibia. So the Namibians came out and was like, actually, Germany, you need to relax because you, girl, have it coming to your own self because you have not done anything about this genocide that you committed in Namibia, which was like hundreds of thousands of people, right? Then Ireland came out. Ireland, Claire Daly of Ireland came out, and she was like, Germany, you need to shut your trap because you don't speak for the rest of Europe. She said Europe supports South Africa's claim. And she said Joe Biden, she called him Butcher Joe. She's here
Butcher
to tell
Biden.
him Butcher Biden, that's what it was. Thank you. The alliteration missed me there. She was like, "Oh yeah, and I'm here to tell you that your ancestors disown you." Which I can't imagine being at Joe Biden's age and stage in life and having somebody say that shit. I'd be upset. Anyway, she said, keep Ireland out of your mouth. You say you're from here. Not anymore, you're not.
Your ancestors disown you.
Disown you. And then that's it. Then she shut it down.
Butcher Biden.
Butcher Biden. So that is the latest stuff that's going on with the South Africa and these courts.
Wow.
On the other side, we saw some Navy SEALs go missing. Now they're saying, oh, these Navy SEALs went missing by Somalia. And so now people are talking about Somali pirates, this and that. But guess what? Somali's just right off that strait from, it's right across the strait from Yemen. Stop it. Anyway, so these Navy SEALs were over there doing whatever they were doing in Yemen, and they fell into the water after trying to board some ship, and so they are still missing, presumed not alive anymore. And yeah, the people are upset because British Petroleum was like, oh, I'm not sending ships anymore. So now the US, for some reason, has sent patrol vessels into the area. We know what some reason is. Where there's oil, there will be America.
Yeah.
So that's what's going on over there in the Red Sea, you guys.
Whew.
But the guy from Yemen, he's like, do not send ships here. This will be your graveyard. The Red Sea will be your graveyard.
The leader of Yemen.
Of Yemen, yes.
The Yemenis.
And you guys may not remember this because it was a little while ago, but it wasn't that long ago. In 2009, Barack Obama bombed the crap out of Yemen. So when you're wondering about, there's like, apparently the Yemeni poverty rate is like 55% of the people live below poverty rate, but Yemen wasn't like that all the time. 100% America did that. 100%. Anyway, so that's what's going on over there in the Red Sea, y'all.
Okay.
We want to talk quickly about 5 Artists, 1 Love is coming up.
5A1 Love. So first and foremost, the Black Affair is happening. That is where we all dress up to the nines. We go out to the Art Gallery of Alberta on January 27th, and we have a great time to some musical acts, hors d'oeuvres, drinks, celebration artwork, and we celebrate Black excellence there. We celebrated wearing our best, doing our best. Try not to show up not in your best. Try to show up in your best.
You might feel awkward, but it's dressed to impress, impress, impress.
And if my good friend Terrence is out there, gentleman team, please.
You need to leave.
It is an all-black affair.
Leave me alone, you guys.
So
So backstory. Our good friend there, Gentleman T, who you guys may know from My 580 Radio, he has stood in for us a number of times. I invited him to the Black Affair last year, but I didn't tell him that he had to wear all black, and I didn't send him the flyer. So he came in like khakis, but he dresses very cool as it is.
He came in a red plaid shirt
I think it was
with
orange.
red Air Force Ones. I was there.
Oh, was
I
it
was like,
red?
wow, yeah. He came in
I
with
thought it was
with
orange and
all red plaid shirt with red Air Force Ones. I think, or Jordans, red Jordans. And then he came. He looked fly, but
so here's what I remember
it was
him
a black
wearing:
one.
an orange and brown flannel shirt, khaki pants, and I remember him wearing like Trek shoes, like orange and tan Trek shoes. So when we see him, I have to ask him what he was wearing.
Okay.
I remember whose memory. Memories don't leave like people do. Okay.
So that's happening on
All black.
On the All Black Affair. Then
27th of January.
Then on February 3rd, we have the actual Five Artists One Love show at the Windspear.
Right. But before all that, we're going to get warmed up because Black History Month, thank God, has spilled over into January. It has spilled over into March. And there's a lot of stuff going on this weekend. Grown Child album release, the star of the stars in Edmonton, Miss Rewo, will be releasing her album. So check that out on Eventbrite, and say what's up when you're there.
Yeah, for sure. Say what's up to Rewo. Rewo will be backed by the band of Mela Freak.
Mm-hmm.
So you might think this is Mela Freak, but it's not. This is Rewo's album with the same band, which it's not Mela Freak.
It's Rewo with Mela Freak.
With Mela Freak.
Right?
Don't get twisted.
She's like, I already have the best musicians. What do you mean?
Don't get twisted. It's not Mela Freak.
No.
It's Rewo.
With Mela Freak.
With Mela Freak.
With the Mela Freak band.
With the Mela Freak band. Which, by the way, she is the only singer in Mela Freak. But this is her stuff.
This is her stuff, though.
This is her stuff. Come
okay.
On. It's not their stuff.
T-Pain Las Vegas residency. So as you guys know, if you've been listening or following, we are best friends with T-Pain.
Yep.
As he
still
said,
rock with him.
His on top of the covers, he said, if you're still rocking with T-Pain in the year 2023, then we are best friends. You can put that in your bio. So I'm going to do that because I'm T-Pain's best friend now. But anyway, T-Pain is now doing a Las Vegas residency. He's going to be there once a month. This year, I think he's doing 2 different clubs. And everybody I've told that to has immediately been like, oh, I got to go see him.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe group trip? What do you guys? Maybe? If you haven't gotten a chance to enjoy T-Pain on top of the covers, definitely check it out. He does War Machine. That song. Dun-na, dun-na.
Okay.
By Ozzy Osbourne.
I don't know that song, but okay. Yeah. Other people might. I see people in the chat might know that song.
Does anybody say they know it in the chat? They're like,
no,
what?
Nobody's saying it yet, but they might.
Got it. Well, it's fine.
Okay.
Anyway, the point is that Ozzy Osbourne himself was like, this is the best rendition ever. Why did you call me? This is amazing.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, I would have liked that too. That's it. We're gonna go on to the next portion of the show, which we call on the.
I was curious. We're not gonna talk about True Detective, but we're okay.
True Detective is on the screen.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. The next portion of the show is called the screen. There you go.
I live. I'm
Yeah.
only here to make you happy, man.
Yeah, man.
I'm working for you.
Okay, pal. So,
It's your world. I'm just living in it.
oh yeah. I'm just a squirrel trying to get bit.
Just
Yeah. All that stuff. Good. So, so on the screen, I've been watching a couple of things, and it's been hard to watch it, but I've been watching Suits.
okay.
I went back. I've heard Suits is great, and I was gonna watch Suits already, but then I found out that Meghan Markle was part of Suits, and then she got all this press for marrying one of the royal family, and I was just like, I don't want.
I don't want that.
I don't want to watch her on any show, period, at all. And then it came back around, and Netflix was like, "Hey, you might like Suits."
Are there men out there who are like Meghan Markle's a babe? Is she like a sex symbol to anybody?
Yeah,
Oh.
yeah. There's a lot of people out there that like the light skinned, white passing woman with the
Okay.
straight hair. People like that.
I know, but I was just thinking of her. She seems very wholesome. I didn't know that she occupied that space in people.
Well, when you watch the show, you realize that she tries to pull off, the sexy person that's on there. So, of course, that's gonna get you millions of people watching, and out of those millions, there's gonna be one guy
It
that's
got to
like,
stick.
gotta be one guy that's like, oh yeah, she's so hot.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, Meghan Markle. Yeah.
What else you watching?
So, anyways, so I'm watching that, and then on Disney Plus, I watched Doctor Who, the special 1, 2, 3, and 4 editions where they introduced the new Doctor Who, first ever black man to be be Doctor Who, be the Doctor. He plays a black man. He plays a black man.
He
who
is a black man.
he plays a black man who is gay.
Yes.
A black man who is gay, but he himself is gay. But he plays a man. He plays the doctor as a gay doctor.
Okay.
I think, but it's hard to tell because he's made a couple references, and it's like, okay, you're not gonna get past this. Before they played a blonde woman. So was the doctor, first woman ever. So now the first black man. So
breaking down
he's very funny, and
barriers.
he's a very good actor, and that's it.
Yeah, breaking out those barriers, good for him.
Mm.
And he's like your favorite guy. He's from that show Sex Education, right?
He's from Sex Education.
What's his name?
I don't remember right now. That's the problem. I have been avoiding saying it until you drew the target on me.
Bro, we have to have secret code words because I could have supported you with like looking it up.
I'm like, yeah, he is this, and he is such a good. I haven't said his name once, and you're like, what's his name?
I'm like, why is he avoiding saying his name?
Yeah, I don't remember his name, but I liked him in Sex Education because he played a very interesting character, and the character that he played is probably more real to life than a lot of people. But it's just, it breaks certain barriers, and it's different. And him as an actor, being in the community, and him being he's not from Nigeria, but a lot of people think that he's from Nigeria. I think he's from
Rwanda.
Rwanda, maybe. Yeah.
Rwanda and Scotland.
What's his name?
Rwanda and Scotland.
Yeah. What's his name?
His name is Nkuti Gatwa.
Okay. So, also a reason why I don't remember his name, because his name
He's
is
so
Nkuti
handsome. He's so
Gatwa.
handsome. He has such a beautiful smile. He has beautiful skin. He is a joy to just look at and watch on screen. I know that's a terrible thing to say. One time I had to do a speech, and this lady was like, "You were just so nice to look at." But I enjoy watching him on screen. I like when you look at me funny because then it's great. It freezes on that screen.
Yeah. Okay. So I liked him as an actor. He just he's playing a very very live and exciting character, and
Mm-hmm.
that's what we don't get a lot from black people, because black men specifically don't get awarded um, that kind of privilege to be happy and joyful and out there
Mm-hmm.
um, on screen. And whenever we do, they're a comedian like Eddie Murphy. Eddie
Yeah.
Murphy's probably one of the only people that I know is like that, and sometimes Kevin Hart. But in all, they kind of have to hold back on how excited they are, and he
Mm.
doesn't seem to be holding back when he shows this in his stuff.
On his brain. Okay.
What are you watching?
I watched I got a couple of them. I watched this AI one where this lady, like, apparently they're like making a AI so you can download your consciousness into a computer, and then your great grandkids can like access who you were, because your consciousness will just like live on in this AI. And so the AI will use like all the photos and all the information about your life, and then in the future it can synthesize answers and stuff like that.
Wow, that'd be weird if he got it wrong.
Yeah, it gets it computer wrong. So like the the person asked the AI like, "How did you feel when I was born?" The AI version of her mom, and
Mm.
the AI was like, looked back at the pictures and then was like, "I was filled with happiness and my stress was relieved." It's like, sort of, I guess, but I probably wouldn't say it like that. But here's my thing, right? Everybody's got a USB from I don't know when that has some stuff on it that may or may not work. You put it in the computer, you're like, oof, I hope this works, right? Like, we're doing this technology now. Who's to say in 3 generations they're going to have a USB drive to even plug your consciousness in? Like, the irony to me is that humanity actually lasts longer than technology. But us as humanity, we're trying to stuff our humanity into this technology with the assumption that it will just go off and exist into the future. But as it stands, my MacBook is not even 10 years old and people think it's old.
So you were watching this on a show?
Yeah, it was on HBO.
Oh, interesting.
And I also watched on HBO True Detective, which is back with Jodie Foster. True Detective is a if you know, you know type of a show. If you're on season 4 with me, to be honest with you, I'm probably going to stick a pin in it because it goes so slow that I need to watch. It's a bingey show for me. And HBO is doing this thing where they release it every week, like 1990. So I'm probably gonna wait, but Jodie Foster's in it. It's an Indigenous First Nations. It takes place in Alaska. Lots of Indigenous people, lots of First Nations people in there as well. And I also was watching Echo on Disney Plus, which also has a lot of First Nations and Indigenous people. And I learned that the actor in Echo um, is really deaf. So that's
Yes.
really cool.
I find it interesting that when she speaks, she whispers.
Oh.
That's what I find very, very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
And the end was really interesting. No spoilers.
Oh,
But
yes, don't.
so everybody, if you want to watch that and support the community of the First Nations people,
Yeah.
definitely watch Echo. It's fantastic. Um, I'm not sure how I feel about the end, but
Okay.
you be the judge.
I will get back to you and tell you. So, what is in your ears?
In my ears, of course, we know about Five Artists One Love. We got a lot of things happening with Five Artists One Love, but there's also opening ceremonies happening for Black History Month, and I'm trying to learn the Black National Anthem.
Oh, know. Lift every voice and sing.
Mm.
Written in 1900, became Black National Anthem by the NAACP in 1919.
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you who it's written by right now. I didn't. I didn't retain that information.
Yes.
So that's cool. I used to have to sing that song all the time when I was a teacher.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm listening to mostly T Pain, but a lot still of NPR. It's just vibes here. I listen to live concerts. I just listened to Bears Hammond live. Of course, all of Bob Marley's concerts are really fantastic live. I realized that some of the versions of the song, like I know the live version and I know the recorded version, which is
Mm.
actually quite interesting. So that is what I have been listening to.
Okay.
Yeah. T Fanny has new music coming out, so shout out to her
Nice.
as well. In our ears, K Riz and is coming to town, so he's going to be playing at the Starlight Room with Arlo and Moraine
Mm-hmm.
in February. So, anyway, yeah, you guys just keep your eyes and ears open because it's a month. It is quite the month.
Yes.
Okay, that's it. Is there a word?
Yeah, you have the word for today.
It's my word. I would say that, you know, it's a tough time right now for a lot of people in a lot of ways. And there's, for the folks who are like, there's a lot of, I will say, rhetoric around change is happening right now, evolution's happening right now. So now's really the time to like, I hate to be like pick your side because it's very apocalyptic, but we are in the apocalypse. So it is for you to decide how you're going to care for yourself. And we've talked about self care regularly, very gently on this show, but really it has to be a radical thing that you do. This is a thing that I've been saying recently, which is like when you go to the bathroom, let's say you do number two, you're not going to be like, "Ooh, I'm too busy to like clean myself up," right? Obviously, you're going to take care of what you have to take care of. And then everything else comes after that because you have to do that first. You're going to wash your hands. You're going to be like, "Oh, I'm too busy to wash my hands." You're going to wash your hands and then the world will happen right after, right? You exist better in the world after you've done all the things you need to do for yourself. So it is important right now to figure out what those things are, really commit to them one day at a time. It's not a New Year's, it's just a time right now. So it's good for setting up your plan, it's good for manifesting, making your vision board. Now is the time for that, and making a plan for what the rest of the year is going to look like.
Okay.
Yes.
Yes, planning ahead and envisioning it
No,
and
I'm not lucky,
doing
I'm
it.
blessed.
That's
Yes.
fantastic.
Okay, everybody. Thank you.
Mom says, guys, the volume is low. Could hardly hear you all.
Well, that's the opposite
Okay.
problem as we've had in the past.
I think I think other people have said we're fine,
Okay.
so I'm not sure.
Yeah, I'll double check. We've been very loud in the past, so we'll see. We'll look at it. We'll look at it and see. Maybe I was talking low at that point. Have to enunciate.
Okay.
All right, everybody. Thank you so much for tuning in for this episode of
It's a
the Black
Black
Multiverse
Multiverse
Theory
Theory.
podcast, episode
Mm-hmm.
344. We'll see you next week with episode 345. Um, Same bad time, same bad channel. I wonder if we're ever going to get a cease and desist for saying that. All right, everybody. Good night.